Coach, your thoughts on the game?
I think our kids and their kids, I think they played very, very well. They played hard, they competed. I was very, very proud of how we responded to adversity in the first half. We didn't rebound the ball very well in the first half. We had some breakdowns defensively that gave up some layups. We still had breakdowns in the second half, but I think we defended the way we have all year down the stretch. We got stops when we needed. We got the ball to go through the basket. They were 8 for 20 in the first half. So we finished up 22 for 44 from the field. So we got the ball to go through the bucket a little bit, got us some energy going, and our kids tough one out. I think that especially these three guys that I got right here in the second half, Kennard put us on his back, got some timely offensive rebounds. AJ hit that big three to kind of get us a separation, give us a 5-point lead, give us a little cushion. And then Tyrese did his thing, rebounding the basketball down the stretch to put the game away.
Question?
What is it about your fourth quarters? It seems like even in this playoff stretch, you guys have been behind or had the lead, and then the other teams come back. And this time, kind of it was reversed a little bit. You guys really had to fight from well behind. You're down by 10 in the third quarter at one point.
The old adage: if practices are tougher, and games are easy. I think once these guys start to speak, they'll probably tell you that our practices are probably rewarding 90% of the time, whether it's grueling mentally or physically. And then our off-season program prepares them for, hey, the fourth quarter, you got to fight, you got to bear down. We want to be the best team in the fourth quarter, and I think they responded tonight.
What was the message at halftime?
Y'all want to tell them what the message
Well,
was?
at halftime we went in the locker room. I mean, we was a little down. Some guys walking with their heads down, so I just had to let them know, pick it up, game not over. We just had to keep fighting back.
It was simple. We looked at the stat sheet, and I told them that, hey, they had 6 offensive rebounds. We had 3. They had 9 turnovers, but we had 6 at the time. And I said, well, what's the difference? Those offensive rebounds led the bucket. And if you remember, they started the game with a dunk. We got to stop. He didn't rebound. They pitched it back to the kid. He got a dunk. And he didn't get it later. So I said, we just got to fix us. And that's what they did. They fixed what we control and it helped them.
Anthony, it's rare for a pair of freshman guards to help take their team to a state championship. At what point in the game did you settle down and say this is just another game?
Halftime, after you gave us the message, I just decided to go out, win the game. And that's what we did.
AJ, when you were at the free throw line at the very end of the game, was that nerve-wracking? What were you thinking?
No, I practiced that often, so it really was like a marathon.
Kennard, what changed for you to help you kind of, as Coach just said, put the team on your back for that stretch where you put in 8 points, probably the most critical juncture of the game?
Yeah, halftime. I went in there with my head down. Tyrese chewed me out. Coach chewed me out. I mean, all the coaches just in my ear. So I stepped up and began to lead.
Tyrese, what did you guys do to try to neutralize Amari Cooper? Much like yourself, he's one of the top forwards in the state in Division V. What did you guys do to keep him bottled up late?
We got a pair of good defenders. We had Charles Tart on him. We had Kennard on him sometimes. We just knew he doesn't like to shoot jump shots a lot, so we stepped back a little bit, tried to take away his right hand, and just clog the paint so he couldn't get any easy bucket.
Coach, their number 34 Starkey had a lot of success. What was going on there? Were they just backdoor plays, or?
What we generally do well is play defense. And I don't think we handled the ball screen well all night with that kid. And we tried a couple different things. We tried to switch it early to do some of our size in there. And I mean, he's skilled to be that big. Then we tried to trap it in there late. And then late in the game, we kind of got us and he just reverse pivot and they threw the lob. So he gave us fits all night. And it's tough when you got 2 good shooters that they had out there, and then you got the Cooper kid that's trying to keep out of the lane. That kid kind of gets lost in the shuffle, but he can play.
Tyrese, what do you think makes this team different than the last 2 great teams you've been on?
This team, we have a lot of depth. You know, we're real young, so it was more inexperience coming into the playoffs, but we still had to play hard. We got a lot of guys that can score. We got a lot of guys that can defend, so we just had to put it all together.
Tyrese, a lot of what you did
in terms of your leadership that didn't show up on the stat sheet. Talk about being a leader out there and guys feeding off your energy.
Coach told me from day one that I had to be a better leader because of the young guys that we had, and I was more experienced on the team. So I seen that they was going down at halftime, so I just had to get into them, let them know that it's not over. And we didn't come this far to lose, so we just had to pick up the intensity.
So Coach, give us an assessment of Tyrese's leadership abilities from day one of practice to what he did for you today.
It's leaps and bounds. I think if you know Tyrese, the person, he's very, very soft-spoken. And these guys can tell he don't say a lot. Even if I was to chew him out, it's yeah, okay, yeah, that's it. So through this regional run and then the state playoffs, at halftime, I'd probably say less, and you hear his voice, and you hear him in the timeout, and you hear him, if you watch at the end of the game, even after they broke the huddle, he's in each one of them's face, and he's handing them an instruction, he's telling them what to do. And I think that's the difference in this team and the other ones is we had a leader, and those young guys, they didn't think they knew it all. They listened to the leader, and they followed. And everybody was on the same page.
You talk about the other two freshmen up there, you talk about Kennard and AJ. How about them from day one and how much they've matured and become great players for you?
It had nothing to do with talent, because they're very, very talented kids. Everything with those two freshmen, and even Kennard was with us last year as a freshman, but he didn't play a lot. He played maybe like 7 minutes a game on that team. They were all young, and the first thing they needed to do was understand that, hey, we got a target on our back, I need to play hard every possession. So just getting them to play hard and defend and believe in defending and playing hard for 32 minutes was tough. And we had that rocky start, I think we started 4-2. And then once they started playing hard for 32 minutes, I can tell you today, it was in Palm Beach, Florida, and we played the Park School out of Buffalo, New York, and they got beat by 20. When they righted the ship the next day and came in, we won by 1. It's been 22 straight, and as you can see, they played for 32 minutes. They finished the game today. That's the biggest thing I can say. They learned the lesson and say, we got to come out, we just got to play hard. And I'm happy for that, because that's probably the only thing that gets you chewed out of my program is your energy and your effort. And that's all we preach, and that's all we preach, and that's all we preach. And that's what they got better at.
Andrew, what did you do over the 5 years you've been at Varina? The team won, 6 games your first year, right? What happened in 5 years?
I think I sold my vision, that I felt Varina had enough talent, keep the talent at Varina, and build. And got involved in the youth programs at the middle school and the feeder system, and people started believing. We got that second year, we got on a run late in the year, kind of got that conference title, and that kind of kept people, they won a championship. You can now say, hey, we can compete for championships. And we got that second one, and then all the success last year. So now when those freshmen come in, they're talented, they're playing under expectations. And I just kept believing in the vision, kept preaching the vision to them every day. And once they started to believe in it and felt like, hey, this is our program, it kind of took off.
Coach, with both of y'all, with Highland Springs and y'all both being in the state semifinals, what does that say about the talent in the East End of Henrico?
That is probably, I would say this is probably one of the most under-recruited areas in the state. There is a lot of talent. Young talent is great, even some of the seniors that are here. And people just doesn't really give them a chance because it's in the East End of Richmond. And you don't know a lot about it, especially on that side of Varina and Highland Springs. You kind of look at them as football schools. You hear a lot about them in their football side, but there's good basketball over there too.
Anything else? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.